life. His mission was to live. Number 2, his mission was to die. He goes on to say, he presented himself alive to them after his suffering. If you could understand those 8 letters that make up the word suffering, if you could understand what that means, that Jesus suffered in our place, it'll change everything. You can understand what Jesus has done. Jesus came to live for our righteousness, and he also went to a cross. He became a man, he became vulnerable, he got tired, he felt pain, and he lived perfect, and then he goes to the cross because that was the plan. He goes to the cross and he takes on himself our guilt, our shame, our sin. Jesus at that very moment didn't just put it on his back, but he became sin. Though he had not sinned, he became sin, and he bore the wrath of God in our place. The question must come up, why did Jesus have to die? Why did Jesus have to die? If God's going to forgive us, why can't he just say, boom, you're forgiven? There's 2 quick answers to that. Why did Jesus have to die? Because you and I are not good. Because you and I are not good. And we've sinned and we've rebelled against God. And it's not like once or twice. It's like our whole life has been lived in the wrong direction. Answer 1, you and I are not good. Answer 2, God is good. And a good and just God does not look at rebellion, does not look at sin and say, I will just sweep it under the rug of the universe and not worry about it. You know that if you go into a courtroom and someone has committed a capital offense and the judge says, that's okay, we're just going to let you go, you know that's not right. You know that justice has to be served. You know that for that judge to do that, that would mean that judge is not good. That is not a good judge. He does not uphold the law. He does not uphold justice. And so Jesus came, and on the cross, God's love and God's justice collide. God is so just and so good that he will not look at you and I in our sin, in our rebellion, and say, that's okay. But, here's the big but. He is so loving that he would not abandon us to death and hell and his wrath that we deserve. So he became a man in the person of Jesus, and he bore our sin, he bore the wrath of God in our place to deliver us, so that God is both just and he can also call us just, because Jesus got what we deserve. You get that? If you get that, I promise your heart will start to sing, because you're freed from your guilt. You're freed from shame. You're freed from the sins you've committed. You're freed from the sins you will commit, because Jesus has already been punished. Jesus has already suffered for them. This is freedom. To know that God became a man to take away our shame, to take away the death and the wrath of God that we deserve, to take that away, to give us salvation by grace. When you know that, when your heart is trusting that, when your life is fueled by what Jesus has done for you on the cross, your heart will start to sing, oh, the wrath of God that I deserve with every breath fell upon him, because he loved my soul to death. That will be the theme song of your life, that we know we still deserve the wrath of God. I deserve it with every breath. But it fell on Jesus. You ever heard that I love this person to death? Heard that, right? You know where that comes from? The work of Jesus. That idea that I love them to death is exactly what Jesus Christ did for us, loving us to the point of death and the wrath of God in our place. It's the good news of the gospel.